And one of the first hands for the night, I get dealt Ace King playing 2-5 at the win in Las Vegas. Button opens up to $15. I decided 3-bet to $60. Folds back around to them and they put in a call. We go to a flop of 9-4-8 rainbow. Pretty dry flop here. I decide to size up a little bit this time around. I'm going to make it $80 to go. They put in the call. The turn brings in the king of spades. Very nice having top pair type kicker here. Decide to make it $215 this time. They think for a couple of seconds. They do lay it down, and we take down our first pot of the night. And we look down at pocket aces, Dove Rockets in middle position, and the under the gun straddle is on this time. Love to see it. $10 it is to go. And we decide to bump it up to $25. Falls around a small blind. They put in a 3-bet, making it $105 to go. I decided to put in a 4-bet, making it $230 to see the flop. Goes back around to them, and they do put in the call. So we're going to be in this 4-bet pot. Heads up, we go to a flop of 10-9-6 rainbow. Beautiful flop for aces. Just worried about 8-7 suited. Opponent shouldn't have that, so we should be good to go. They check. I put out a bet of $100. They put in a call. Turn brings in the jack of clubs, so have some backdoor clubs coming in, but not too worried. But I am worried about them possibly having king queen suited. There's one hand that does beat me now. They do check. And think about it for a little bit, but I do decide to put in another bet of $130 here. They put in a call, and the river brings in the 8 of clubs. That's definitely the worst river I can ever possibly see. Losing the flushes, losing to a random 7, king, queen. I mean, we're losing to everything, ladies and gentlemen. They do check, and I think about it for a little bit of, hey, do I ever want to bet here? And it's just like, you know, don't really see any merit in doing it. So I decide to check back, and my opponent immediately shows pocket kings, red kings. So our aces do hold here, but would have loved to extract more value here. But hey, we do take down the pot. Look down at Jack 10 suited in small blind. Cutoff opens to $20. Button puts in a cold call. I decide to 3-bet squeeze to $75. Big blind actually somehow comes along with the cold call here. Matching my $75 bet. Cutoff thus fold, and button throws in the $75 into the pot as well. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop of 10-7-6 rainbow. We do flop top here. Kick is a little bit weak here. But hey, I'm all about betting. We do decide to put out a bet of $75. Big blind does think for a little bit. And they do put in the call. Button actually does muck their cards. And just so you know, me and big blind, their stack is really short here. They only have roughly $150 behind. And they did this to me earlier, so I decided to actually blind jam all in. Just threw in $400. Like I said, only $100 effective here before the turn even comes out. The turn does come a 7 of diamonds, so I do lose to a 7 out, but hey, I was just ready to go all in. And big blind looks at their cards. They're thinking for a little bit, but eventually they do lay it down, and we scoop the pot without even having to show down. And I look down, and I have pocket 7s on the button. Low jack decides to open it up to $15. I put in a flat here on button. Big blind comes along with the call as well. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop of queen 10-7, 2 diamonds. Loving this board here. We do flop bottom set here. Let's see if we can get some money in the middle. Big blind does check. Low jack decides to put out a bet of $20. I call, and then big blind does muck their cards. So we're going to be heads up going to a turn of the 9 of hearts here. They decide to put out a bet of $60 this time, and trying to get some money in the middle here. I do decide to raise in position to $200. They think about it for a little bit, but unfortunately they do lay their cards down, so we're not going to get some extra money with our set, unfortunately. And this hand must be loving me tonight. I get dealt pocket 7s again on the button versus the under the gun straddle. There's going to be $10 to go. I decide to just limp here and not going to be raising it up this time, so just mash $10. Big blind comes along as well. Once again, we're going to go 3 ways to a flop of 7, ace, 4, 2 spades. Looking very nice again. Second time of the night, I'm flopping a set with pocket sevens. Big blind checks. Under the gun makes it $20. I decide to bump it up here on the flop this time. Instead of waiting for the turn to do my raise, I make it $60 to go. Big blind folds, and they put in a call. Turn brings in the 4 of diamonds. Heads up now with low jack. They do check, and I decided to put out a bet of $110, trying to get them to call here. Hopefully they have an ace. Unfortunately, they do fold, do take down another pot, but just not getting that big amount of money with some really big premium hands. And for the third hand in a row, I get dealt pocket sevens again. This time I'm in middle position versus the under the gun straddle. Decide to bump it up this time to $30. And surprisingly, to my left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people calling, including the under the gun straddle. So we're going to go to a flop 6 ways here of queen, 6, deuce, 2 clubs. It does check around to me, and I do decide to put out a bet here. I make it $40 to go. Small blind puts in the call, and button puts in the call as well. So we're going to go 3 ways to a turn of and bank again. We've turned the 7 of hearts. That is the 3rd time tonight that I managed to flop, well, turn a set. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hopefully we can get some money this time around. It does check back to me and make it $200 to go on the turn. They think about it for a couple of seconds, but unfortunately, once again, they do lay down the cards. But hey, we take down another pot. And a couple of hands later, I get dealt ace king suited of spades under the gun. Decide to open it up to $15. Folds around the cutoff, and a 3-bet to $60. Folds back around to me, and we're about $1,000 to $1,500 deep here. So very, 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 very deep. I do still decide to 4-bet to $150. Think for a couple of seconds, but they do put in a call. And we go to a flop of jack, 5, 9, rainbow. Good thing there is 1 spade on the board, but yeah. And worried about my opponent having pocket jacks here, but definitely going to be c-betting. Board is very dry. I decide to put out a bet of $60. Think for a couple of seconds, and they do put in a call. Turn brings in the rubber ducky, deuce of hearts. So we don't turn any backdoor equity here, but I can still have aces and kings in my range. Think about it for actually like for 30 seconds or so, taking my time here, and I do decide to put in a double barrel here. I bet $80 on turn. My opponent thinks for a couple of seconds and does lay it down. So we've been making hands and winning pots, and now I don't even have a hand, just have ace high, and I managed to take down this big 4-bet pot. Let's go. And next hand, we wake up with pocket jacks, the JJs in the small blind. We have under the gun straddle on. We do have some callers ahead, but it does fold around to me and decide to bump it up to $50. Big blind actually puts in the call, and everybody else surprisingly folds. So we're going to be heads up, and we go to a flop of queen, 10, 4, 2 spades. Rough. We have jacks. Yeah, I do have the jack of spades, but yeah, it is a queen on board. This player is actually pretty short stacked. They don't even have $500 behind them. So I decide to put in a check this time. They actually put out a bet of $75. Really, really big bet here, ladies and gentlemen. I do decide to put in a call. I'm not going to go anywhere yet. And the turn brings in the jack of clubs. We jack them. Have a set here. I am really not worried about ace king. If they had ace king, they probably would have just bumped it up pretty, right? Decide to check again. They check back, and the river brings in the 8 of spades. Once again, I do have the jack of spades, really good card here, but now I am losing to a random 9. It can have stuff like queen 9 suited, just some random 9x pocket 9s. I mean, who knows, right? And here I do check, and I look to my left and I see, once again, you know, they're pretty short, only roughly $180 behind. think for a little bit, and yeah, we're gonna have an Aunt Jemima moment. I am all in on this scary, 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 scary board with my set of jacks, trying to get called here. And they do think about it for like roughly 10-15 seconds. They do flick in the call. I mean, I'm happy that I faded the snap, right? I flip over my set of jacks and they sadly muck their cards, and that's going to be it for this player to get up and leave. Very nice way to get some extra money there on the river. And a couple of hands later, I look down at ace king suited of diamonds this time. Diamonds are forever, baby. In small blind. And the under the gun stratter was on for $10. Does fold around to me and decide to make it $30 to go. Big blind does call and under the gun fold. So we actually going to be heads up here. And we go to a flop of ace, 8, 7, 2 hearts. That's fine. We do have diamonds, so they can have a flush draw. Let's start building the spot up. Decide to put out a bet of $35. They're in position and they put in a call. We go to the turn. It brings in the 6 of spades. A little bit scary here. They could have 10-9, but yeah. Once again, I do have diamonds in my hand. I am blocking both of the flush draws. I'm just going to keep barreling here and let's see what they're going to do. Dude decides to put out a bet of $90 this time. They take a couple of seconds and they put in another call. Go to the river and it comes the queen of hearts. Really, really, really scary river here. Front end flush draw did just get there, ladies and gentlemen. And I decided to put out a little small bet here on the river. Just bet $100. They think for a couple of seconds, and unfortunately, they go all in for $130 in position. And yeah, I'm going into the tank. Just thinking, what do they have here? You know, I just bet the whole way, and now in the river, they're just going all in after facing a triple barrel by me. So yeah, just really sensing some strength here. Not even sensing it, just has to be strength, you know. And I do have top here, top kicker. I am thinking about it for a bit, but yeah, I'm just gonna be laying this one down. We're gonna move on. We're going to try to look for a better spot to call it all in on the river. And we're gonna have a bomb pot right now, and I do manage to be on the button in a bomb pot. Love to be in position in this type of situation. I look down and I have king 10 off, and we go to a flop of ace, jack, 9, rainbow. We have 9 people in this bomb pot, so the pot is roughly $180 right now. Under the gun puts in a nice little small bet of $5. Everybody's calling. I call, but it does get to big blind, and they decide to bump it up here. They decide to make it $65 to go. Folds all the way, surprisingly, back around to me, and I decided to put in a call here. So we're actually going to be heads up, and we go to a turn of the lady. Oh my goodness, the queen of diamonds. We just turned the nut straight in a bomb pot. Let's hope that we can get paid, ladies and gentlemen. They put out a bet of $100, and I'm thinking about it here. There are some flush draws out there, obviously, but just some really bad rivers that can slow down action. So I decided to bump it up here. I got to start building this pot. I am roughly 15 to 2,000 plus dollars effective with this player right now. I decided to bump up their bet to $375. They think for a little bit, and they do put in the call. And while this river's coming out, I'm just hoping for a brick. I'm like, please don't peer the board. I want to make sure I have the nuts here going into the river. And bam, it does come the 6 of clubs. So I literally have the best hand possible on this board. They check. I do go into the tank for a little bit, just 15-20 seconds or so. And at that point, I do announce we're going to have an Aunt Jemima moment. I'm all in for roughly $1,400 or so. And my opponent goes into the deepest tank I've ever seen this year. They are tanking. After roughly 30 seconds, they actually flipped over their cards, and I managed to maintain composure here. They flip over pocket aces. This player actually flopped top set in a bomb pot, and they have not called me yet. You know, I see them flip it over once, and then they even flip it over again. The dealer does let them know, hey, you have to calm down. You can't be doing that. And I'm just sitting there waiting, just praying for a call. Like, you know, put all my chips in the middle. Could make a lot of money here. This is a lot of buy-ins in the middle, ladies and gentlemen. And they're tanking, 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 tanking. I'm like, how can this person ever fold a set of aces? Like, you just can never fold here, ladies and gentlemen. You can never fold. If this person folds, it's literally just like, what are you kidding me? How can they let this go? And unfortunately, after like 4 or 5 minutes of them tanking, they actually fold a set of aces. Now, they were right this one time. They were right this one time, ladies and gentlemen. But if you're going to fold set of aces in a bomb pot, that has got to be the tightest fold I have ever seen this year. You just can't fold. Like, what are you folding for? I can't even believe it. It's literally the nittiest play. And, you know, when a player does this, to me personally, I remember what they look at. Like, if I ever go to the win again and I'm playing against this player, I mean, I already know what I got to do to get the most money out of them. So, hey, unfortunately, they didn't call, but hey, what can you do? We still do take down a massive pot here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be the last hand of the night. I get dealt pocket aces. The Rockets again, big blind special. Cutoff makes it $20 to go. Button puts in the call. Small blind puts in the call as well. I decided to put in the 3-bet squeeze, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I misclick in live poker. There's no buttons, but I misclick. Made it $105 to go. Really meant to bump it up more here with everybody being over $1,000 effective. So yeah, just a little bit too small of a 3-bet, and we see what happens. Cutoff calls, button calls, and small blind calls. So now we're going to a flop 4 ways with pocket aces, and it does come ace 9 10, but unfortunately all diamonds. Don't have a diamond in my hand, obviously. If we do just flop a set of aces, hopefully the board can pair at some point. I decide to check instead of betting this time, and it does check all around. So we do go to the turn, which brings in the 9 of clubs. Pretty safe turn for the most part. Decide to try to bet here. We have some straight draws coming in now, and of course I can lose the 4-card flush. So I do put out a bet of $200. Everybody for the most part folds, but it does come back to small blind, and they put in the call. The river brings in the queen of clubs, so kind of worried here. Now a jack is a straight, king jack is a straight, all of these, you know, hands that I lose to. And they do check, and I think about it for a long time here. I'm just thinking, should I be betting? Should I check back? And I really just, you know, after thinking for roughly 30 seconds to a minute, didn't see any merit in betting, so I do check back. And unfortunately, my opponent shows king jack off. So king of clubs, jack of diamonds. Really unfortunate to lose this straight here with my aces. I just 3-bet bigger. They would have never been in this hand. I would have never lost all of this money in the spot. So yes, sizing is really important, ladies and gentlemen. First session back at the win. We do cash out for a profit of $947. That was a nice winning session at the win, but unfortunately, every session can't go my way. Check out this video where I lose the most money I ever lost in my entire life at Hustlers Casino Live.